Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Tiger, and up here today, guys. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, I do want to try to make sure I'm doing more gaming-orientated videos and collecting-orientated videos, which you may have noticed. I mean, yesterday we had an ASMR pickups video, and from what I can tell, it was, pretty successful. I know people have been asking for ASMR for a while. Sorry if it weren't proper ASMR, I still need to sort of get back into the groove of trying to do that. But today, guys, I have some things that I want to share with you. Now, you've probably seen all of these things before, but I want to share with you some of my favourite things that I have in my collection. Now, I've got some media, some games, and a console I want to share with you today. Now, as you guys know, I don't just collect games. I also collect physical media for like DVDs and Blu-rays. For one reason and one reason only. Well, more than one reason, but I do have, I have Netflix, I have Prime, I have Now TV, I have everything. Pretty much. I can watch whatever I want on my phone, on my Xbox, on my PlayStation. It will be on my TV when I get a 4K smart TV. So streaming is all right for me because I like the idea of streaming and Netflix and things just because of the sheer, just because of how easy it is to get all of these shows and movies without actually having to go out and pay for each of them individually. But again, I've always mentioned when it comes to like streaming services that shows and movies will get taken off, it'll be incomplete. Although I am liking Amazon Prime as of late, actually, I am seeing some good stuff on there. But again, problem is that although it is the way forward with media, movies and games, streaming services and subscription services are the way forward in many people's eyes. You do get more bang for your buck, definitely, but there are some problems with that. If you ain't got no internet or your internet goes, you're kind of screwed, right? Yeah, you can download your shows in advance, but again, it's storage. Now, I do like to have physical media because we get awesome collector's editions and things like that. But I wanted to start off with two box sets that I have, which a lot of people probably have never heard of. So there's a company called Mill Creek Entertainment. Now, they are an American company, it's online, and they basically get like all of these old obscure movies from all over the globe and put them together on big box sets. Now, I have here one called Iron Fist Frenzy. This is part of a 2-box set. It does have a second box set, but I couldn't find it somewhere, so it's probably in my bookcase somewhere. And I love Kung Fu movies. I love these old sort of Chinese Kung Fu movies, bad voiceovers, but awesome fight scenes, Bruce Lee and stuff like that. And this one includes 50 movies. And again, I also have another one which also includes 50 movies, and they came part as one set. So 100 movies in total, and that's crazy, right? Bit of a downside, they are region locked, so be aware. If you don't have a region 3 DVD player, you probably ain't going to be able to watch them. But I think the Xbox One does let me watch them, at least on the Xbox One S. I've watched stuff on there and they've worked. I'm not sure about PlayStation 4. I do need to try. I know Blu-rays tend to be a lot harder to get around that lock-in, but you can pick up an easy Region 3 DVD player these days for under £40. So they're not that expensive. And yeah, they are. Region locking is becoming a thing of the past, thankfully. But I loved watching some of these. They're not great, don't get me wrong. They are sort of guilty pleasure movies. Some of them are memorable, some of them aren't. But just the idea of having 50 Kung Fu movies, well, 100 Kung Fu movies to watch on one box set is crazy. They come in these sort of box sets like this. You come with a little booklet which tells you what's on there, and then the discs come in these sleeves, and they normally have 4 movies on one disc. There's no subtitles, there's no special features, there's nothing like that. It is just a base movie. But when you've got 50 movies, you've got to cut costs somewhere. But again, yeah, Mill Creek, I don't know. I haven't been on Mill Creek in a while actually, so I don't know if they do ship worldwide now. So I got these off Amazon, and yeah, there's so many of them. They do like box sets of 4, of 2, of 5, of 7, of 10, of 20, of 50, and 100, and even next one. You guys know what it is. The 200 box sets. This is one of 4. I know there's 4 of these big box sets. There's this one, Tales of Terror, which has over 200. Oh, upside down. It has over 200, guys. Well, not over, but 200 movies on here. Now, again, similar thing. These aren't great movies. They're obscure. A lot of black and white movies, old movies, silent movies. But if you are a fan of cinematography in general and you don't really care about, you know, having all the bonus features and the best quality movie, you just want to watch a movie, definitely check these ones up. There's also cult classics, which I do want to try and hunt down. There's also a Western one with 200 Western movies on, and there's also a World War II one, which I think is more of a documentary box set than it is movies. But I also have some of the 200 ones as well, not the 200, the 20 ones as well, with some of the sci-fi, war and fantasy movies on there. Again, they're not amazing movies. You might find a few hidden gems in here. Definitely got some good ones on here, like you know, like House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. That's a classic on here. You know, you've got the Bulldog Drummond series on here. You know, you've got fucking I know Nosferatu's on here as well. Some Frankenstein, some Dracula movies. So yeah, I love this box set, and you know, these have got to be some of my favourite DVD box sets. Not because of what, you know, all the special features and all of the extras, but just because of the sheer amount of stuff you get on there. I paid like 70 quid for this one, but I on Amazon, so I don't know if they're getting harder to find now, so they might have gone up, they might have gone down. I need to double check and stuff like that. But I absolutely love this. Be aware that some of the movies that aren't here actually aren't horror. There are a few action films on here as well, actually. One I watched called Hands of Steel, which was more like a it reminded me a little bit like of a budget Terminator almost, about this guy who had like a robotic hand and people are trying to hunt him down, and it sort of reminded me like of a Terminator movie, but it was surprisingly decent actually. Not great, but you know, it sort of reminded me of these old 70s, 80s, you know, sci-fi action movies. So I actually love this, but be aware that a lot of those movies that have like 50 or 20 on them are actually on here as well. So be aware that when you're buying them, probably better to get the biggest ones. If you get this and the Cult Classics, you'll probably have most of those Mill Creek 20 and 50 movies on this. So I absolutely love having this in my collection. And yeah, I've only watched like 4 or 5 of the discs on here, so definitely one to go back to. And then last in my DVD media is the Laurel and Hardy collection. Now, I remember when I was a bit younger, my granddad let me borrow some Laurel and Hardy DVDs that he had, and I watched them, and I fell in love with Laurel and Hardy. I absolutely fell in love with them. Now, I think it was some of their later work. It was like the 50s, 60s, I think, maybe late 40s. Now, for so long, I had wanted a Laurel and Hardy box set in my collection. Now, I've seen this on Amazon years ago and put it in my wish list, and you know, it just sort of sat in my wish list, never got ordered or nothing. And then I actually came by this in a charity shop, a local charity shop, when I was back living with my mum and dad, well, back at home, like I say. And I seen it in the charity shop, and I can't remember if it was my mum or my aunt that actually paid the difference off on this and let me get it, because they knew how much I love Laurel and Hardy and stuff like this. Now, I have looked through this again. Now, you can buy a lot of these Laurel and Hardy DVDs on individual in like HMV, and HMV are still selling like the briefcase style one, which has like, just give me a sec, guys. Sorry, my son got brought back. He wasn't at store, he was sick, so he's come back. But yeah, I actually Did a little bit of research on this box set just now, and this one actually has pretty much most of their early work. So from the 1920s to the 40s, I think is the latest ones on here. So not really much in the later works, you know, with the big box, the full length movies. These are a lot of shorts, maybe 45-hour long films. But if you're a fan of Laurel and Hardy, try and hunt this down, because this is, in my opinion, one of my favourite things to own. I still haven't watched anything on here yet. I just haven't got around to watching them. But and the good thing about these is some of these DVDs not only include, like, you know, they include like 4 or 5 that they include like 4 or 5 shorts on here, but they also include like different versions, like the silent version, or the black and white version, or the coloured version. So it's a pretty cool piece of history here. So if you're a fan of like the golden era of comedy, you know, like Charlie Chaplin and stuff, this is one to look out for. And I paid 30 quid for this from Oxfam, but I think it's starting to grow in value. I'll have to check how much this one's selling for. Alright, leave. Right, and now we get into some games here that I wanted to show. Now, again, these aren't necessarily like expensive things. These are just some of the cooler things that I really am happy to own. First thing I wanted to show is a game called World in Conflict. Now, looking at it, it's nothing special, right? It was meant to include like a headset, It's an old PC sort of strategy game, and obviously it includes some like DVD and stuff like that. That don't bother me too much. I wouldn't have brought this at all. I mean, I don't know why I brought it when I first seen it, but what made me buy this game, or this particular box set, is this. This is an authentic, it's got a certificate of authenticity here of the Berlin Wall. I don't know how authentic this is, but just to have a game that has a piece of the Berlin Wall in it is crazy, you know. Very, very important piece of history there, the Berlin Wall, and of course, you know, Germany, the Cold War and stuff. But to see a game have something like that in it, it's crazy, right? You know, it sort of reminds me of these old PC games where they would give you like coins and lore and stuff like that, and weird things that you get inside them. Yeah, to have a game that has a piece of the Berlin Wall, whether it's authentic or not, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't really care, to be honest. I have no interest in trying to get rid of it or anything, but just to see that in a particular game is just weird, right? Next I wanted to show, now again, this game is not really worth a lot, but it's called Sega Mega Drive's McDonald's Global Gladiators. Now, the reason I threw this one in here is because, again, this is another piece of gaming history that, you know, just shows that, you know, back in the day, there was these weird arts and, you know, companies like McDonald's and 7-Up and Virgin and all of these, you know, it's actually made by Virgin Games as well. Okay, there's a piece of history in its own right, but just to show that, you know, back in the day, we would have games like this being made, you know, games made by, you know, big corporations, you know. And we don't really get that much these days, apart from mobile games, but it's just a little cool piece of history here. I know there's other McDonald's games, you know, McKids and things, but again, this isn't worth a lot of money. But I just wanted to show this one to you guys, because it's something cool that I actually, you know, it's something I like to have. Plus, I love Sega Mega Drive, and I think the cases are some of the best cases of all time. And of course, you know what I had to show. Nobody can stop Mr. Domino, and the condition of this game still amazes me. Thing in there. Now, this game is one of them games that I have been searching for like 18 years, ever since I've seen, you know, played the demo as a kid. on my PlayStation 1. I always wanted this game in my collection, and I never seen this Game Station logo on the back there. This piece of history in its own right. But when I finally saw this in CEX, it takes the piss, because I seen it, brought it for 20 quid, and then a week later I went back in and they had another copy of the game. Logan, be quiet. So I couldn't believe that I finally found the game, and then it takes the piss because I found the game and then they had another copy in. So, but this is one of my holy grail items, sort of a game that I spent a long time looking for, and was glad that I finally found it. Next we've got a big box, collector's edition, Odin Sphere, Le Frazier. I think it's called Le Frazier. I don't actually have the game anymore. I didn't even play it. I ended up selling it. I don't know why I've done that, but I can even get the game back and put it back in here. The reason I wanted to show this one is it was either this or the Dead Island Riptide big box set, well, the Dead Island Collectors, whatever you call it, the collection. But I wanted to show this one. I've already done an unboxing of this anyway, but the reason I wanted to sort of show this one is because I really like having a sort of anime style thing. Of course, it came with a steel book, an art book, and it still has the t-shirt in there, still sealed. And this is one of them collector's editions that I actually haven't, took anything out of it apart from the game, obviously. And this is just sort of showing off that I've got at least one collector's. Well, I've got 2 or 3, but I don't normally buy collector's editions. I bought this from game well after it had gone past its prime. I seen it like 33 quid, so I thought I'd take a chance on it. But I want to get more big collector's editions like this. But I just wanted to show it off because I really do like this collector's edition. Just because it's got some pretty cool stuff in there. And even though I haven't played the game, I don't know how good the game is. I just wanted to show this one. And last but not least is one of my most prized possessions. Now, I know when you look at this you think, oh, it's just an Xbox Classic, an OG Xbox Crystal Xbox. Now, at first glance, yeah, it is. It isn't. This is what is called the Mod Father. I've done some videos on this, so if you've watched those videos, you know what this is. But for those of you who haven't watched that video, this is what I like to call one of the beasts of modded consoles. Now, this includes some really cool outside things. It has like a cooling system in there, and of course it's got LEDs in there, and it's got a hard drive in there that has over 100,000 games. That's right, 100,000 games. Now, you might hear that with these knockoff consoles, these obscure 1,000 PC games, which is a blatant lie. We know those things are blatant lies. They are lies. This case, it is not a lie. I shit you not, it is not a lie. And you can check out those videos if you want to sort of back that up. Now, it's made by a company called X Emulation, and I've already talked about them before. They do great work. They're a Facebook store group. Check them out on Facebook. They're British, from what I know. So English, but I say British because they could be from Scotland or Wales, so I don't know. But they do great work. They have so many cool modded systems now. I also have my Wii Cube, which is a modded Wii with every single GameCube game and some Game Boy Advance games on there, and some Wii games and WiiWare games, which WiiWare games, I don't think you can get them anymore. But I love this thing. Now, I haven't actually got it set up anymore. I need to get all my wires out, set it up again. But trust me, when this thing is turned on, it looks amazing. Trust me. Check out the video. I think I showed it off there. But, this has got everything on here. It's got over 50 different consoles on here. It's got old PCs like Commodore. I think you can even hook up a keyboard to it. I don't know if you can, but you might be able to. yeah, it's got old PCs on there. It's got NES, Sega Mega Drive, PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, TurboGrafx, Neo Geo, and of course arcade systems, which, you know me, I love some beat 'em ups and shoot 'em ups, shmups. But this thing definitely weighs more than a normal Xbox just because of the extras in there. You probably can see, like, there's the cooling tower there, and of course the motherboard, and there's the X Emulation logo there, and of course there, and it does have LEDs in there, but of course you're not going to see that unless it's plugged in. Um, so this is my sort of modded, my mod father. This is my favourite system that I own, just because of how cool it looks and just the sheer amount of stuff you've got on there. Yeah, emulation, but still, to be able to play a lot of these games that I'd never be able to play otherwise without spending a fucking fortune. You know, Neo Geo games alone are like £200-300 just for one. And this bad boy cost £170, you know, so it's crazy, right? And it's really cool. There's some kinks that need working out with it, but for the most part, it is really plug and play. Now, X Emulation do fantastic work. They have this bad boy. They've got another modded Xbox, which is called the Mega Mod, which includes, from what I know, every single original Xbox game on there, as well as some extra games and things on there. The Wii Cube, which is obviously GameCube orientated. They now have a modded PSP with PSP games on there, PS1, and a bunch of the, you know, the retro stuff on there, because obviously retro stuff doesn't take up a lot of space anyway. If you know emulation, you know the ROMs don't take up a lot of space. Normally they're about a couple of megabytes, so you know that don't take up a lot of space. And I think the hard drive in this is like a 250 gig hard drive, maybe even bigger. So you do get a fair amount of space on there, but I don't mess around with any of the settings, just play the games. And of course they now do a modded DS as well, similar thing, but obviously DS game orientated with all the extras. They now have a modded PS2, which I might get just because of the PS2, although probably most of the games on there I probably already have. So in that case I can't get moaned at for not having the games, but and of course they now also do a modded Sega Dreamcast, which again, another awesome system that would be worth investing in to play those games. And they're also now working on a modded Xbox 360, which again might be worth investing in. And yeah, really good stuff, X Emulation. I can't boost them up enough. Check them out on Facebook. If I remember, I'll leave a link in the description. But there we go. There's some of my favourite things that I own in my collection. Now, you know me, I have well over 2,000 physical games and about 5,000 games ready to play, that including all of the ones on the Modfather. That's through, you know, Game Pass, PS Now subscriptions and digital games that I own and things like that. And you know, I love collecting, and sometimes you do, while I do buy a lot of cheap stuff, and you know, I do have a lot of crap here and there. You know, some people say all these sports games are worth jack shit. I do have some pretty cool stuff, and hopefully you guys sort of can appreciate what I'm trying to do here, showing off some of my cooler things in my collection. Now, this isn't all of it. There could be a second part of this video in the future. I don't know. Also, I did want to mention my my Xbox One, the Gears of War limited edition, because my mate brought me that. But so that's one that I also had to show, because it's still a pretty cool looking console in its own right. I don't buy a lot of limited editions and extra consoles just because of A, I don't have the space, and B, it's too much money. But occasionally I will stumble upon some pretty cool stuff and invest wisely into some stuff that I know that through time the value of it will only go up, and if ever a case I do need that bit of money, there we go. Not that I ever really like selling my games. As you know, yesterday when I did my trade-ins, it was anything that I traded in I pretty much got back. And I think yesterday's pickups speak for themselves. I think it was a pretty cool little pickup video. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more videos like this, feel free to leave a like and of course comment below. Let me know some of your favourite things that you own. Do you spend a lot of money on collector's edition, or do you prefer to just sort of buy things if and when? I'm a bit of both really, to be honest. You know me, I won't buy a game day one anymore unless it's something I really want, just because of the shit market in these games. Now have a look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Sorry Ubisoft, but your game is a pile of shit at the moment. And I'll talk more about that in a different video. And of course subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry about the noise in the background. My son was meant to be next door, around playing next door, but I had to bring him back because he was sick, so now he's being loud in my video, so I apologise for that. Can't do nothing about that. I was in the middle of doing a video, I wasn't going to leave it any longer. Just break through with it, and I know you guys are quite, you know, respectful of that, and I've never really had any complaints about my son. And if anyone does complain about my son, you get a big fucking, you know, one of them, because if you don't like it, fuck off. If you ain't got kids, fuck off. You know what I mean? And if you have got kids, you know what I'm dealing with here. And as always guys, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and join the family for more exclusive content here on this channel. And of course guys, feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I will be posting updates and good things like that there. And I want to give a big shout out, just if you check out my Instagram story, you'll know what I'm on about, but for those who haven't, my PSVR mega unboxing video has nearly reached 1,000 views. I can't believe that actually. I didn't think that video would get a lot of views, but it has. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that one, especially for the fact that I got the PSVR quite late. You know, I'm surprised how many people watched it. And the PS Now video has now over 21,000, nearly 22,000 views, and growing, you know. I will be doing an updated PS Now list in the future, although it probably won't be as good looking as the last one, because it's going to be in that sort of streaming style. But never mind, we will do it as it comes. And as always, have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.